Hey, Larry here. Acts 29 today. Coming to you from Sunny World headquarters in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I'd like to welcome all the viewers in Thailand and around the world to this edition. Today, I'm going to be moving this dot out of the way on this live show, and today I'm going to be introducing the next part of the trip, the journey, and this part of the journey is entitled Life After Your Last Excuse, and this will be going on from where I ended up last time with launching out into the deep. And I also wrote an ebook with the same title called Life After Your Last Excuse, and that's the cover of the book. I know it's kind of hard to see with this light on here. It's shining right on the screen, but anyway, that is that's what the cover of the book looks like, and you can find that book on in the description below. So that's what I'm going to be introducing today, is this next section. And I'm just going to read the introduction right from the book itself, because it explains it pretty well. I heard a saying once that went something like this: life, how long is it? Well, nobody knows. But the tragedy of life is not that it's over so quickly, but that we wait so long before we start to live it. And that saying just, that describes my life exactly. The tragedy of life is not that it's over so quickly, but that we wait so long before we start to live it. And we're going to get into a lot more of this kind of stuff in detail and some follow-up videos. For me, this was a great question. Why do we wait so long before we start to really live life and stop just existing? I felt like I was just existing for many years. Then one day I was driving across a bridge over the Columbia River between the state of Washington and Oregon when I said something out loud that kind of amazed me. I said, I know what my problem is. I have no purpose. I have no purpose in life. I just do what I have to do, but other than that, I feel like an asteroid floating around in space. So do I just continue in the status quo? And the status quo means the mess we are in. Or do I go on a mission to discover my purpose, calling, and God-given destiny in life? And if I did go on such a mission, how would I ever find these things out? As I talked to many people about this, I found one astounding thing in common as to why they were not doing what they believed God had called them to do. And that is, they all had excuses. Many, many excuses. The list of excuses included fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of success, Fear of flying. Not enough money. No education. Not smart enough. No one would listen to me. That's been done before. That's never been done. I'm too short. I'm too tall. I don't have enough time. It's too late. It's my wife. It's my husband. Maybe when the kids grow up. Or maybe when I retire. Who would water the plants? Who would feed the pets? We need to add another room onto the house. I'm too old. I'm too young. And you can add all of your own excuses in here as well. I think you get the picture about people's excuses, and I had a lot of them also. I went on a relentless search for purpose and destiny in my life, and what I found was there was life after my last excuse. A life, not just an existence, but a supernatural, spirit-led life outside of the boat, walking on the water with Jesus kind of life. And that is what I'm going to share with you in the next part of this journey, so that you too can begin to really live life and to also know the difference between existing and living and make the transition from one to the other. Most people just give up at some point in their existence and say something like, well, I guess this is it, so I'll just make myself as comfortable as I can with what I have where I am. And so they do. But the emptiness inside is still there. That nagging feeling that says, I know that God had and has so much more for me to be and accomplish in life. But I just never got around to it. If you are still breathing, there is time for you to make some radical changes in your life. And you can move from where you are today to the perfect plan of God for your life. That is, if you will. He has already done everything he can for you. There's nothing more he can do. It is finished. Now, my friend, it's your turn. I know you can, but you know what I don't know is if you will. Remember, your key to unlocking divine mysteries is praying in tongues. Your destination is God's perfect will for your life, and your helper throughout the journey is the Holy Spirit living within. Welcome aboard. I ran out of excuses at a point in my life. So hopefully you've listened to the first part of this journey, but his mother believes he is, the story of how I got born again, and the second part of the journey, launching out in the deep, the story of how I prayed in tongues for edification, the revelation gift for many hours in the truck over a 2-year period. Now I'm going to pick up the story about 1 year after my only brother and best friend passed away at 52 years of age, very unexpectedly. The marriage of 18 years ended in divorce, and I quit my truck driving job all within a few months of each other. The Holy Spirit had spoken to me the night that my brother had died and said, if you are ever going to do what I've called you to do, now would be the time. I wasn't sure what that was going to mean in my life, but I was about to find out. The most amazing thing that was so noticeable in my life now was the lack of fear. I just had no more fear. I had no fear of living, dying, or of the future. All fear was completely gone out of my life. I knew that mission ministry would be a big part of my life going forward, and with no more job, no more wife, or anything else to stop me from doing what I believed God wanted me to do, I was all out of excuses. I remember thinking, wow, I'm all out of excuses. And with that, I began to live a life after my last excuse. I said, Holy Spirit, okay, now is the time. I'm all yours. I'll go anywhere, do anything you want me to do. I have no more excuses. I have no more fear of anything. Please lead the way. Now, because I had already prayed out God's perfect plan for my life in the truck and tongues, now it was time for me to walk out in the natural world exactly what had already been prayed out in the Spirit. So, thus began life after my last excuse. And this was an amazing event and time in my life. And I'm going to do more videos where I'm going to break this kind of stuff down that happened so that you can really understand the details of some of this stuff and the thinking and all that goes along with that. But for now, I'm going to continue on with exactly what happened as I begin to see this path unfold in front of me that I had prayed out in the Spirit in the truck for those 2 years. An incredible journey began to unfold before me, and opportunities began to come my way. And so I began to take those opportunities and just move in the direction. You know, it's said that that the key to direction is movement. You know, it's very difficult to steer a car that's not moving. But if you're moving in a direction, then direction can happen. Steering can happen. And so I began moving because I realized that I had to take part in stepping into my destiny. That was up to me. God was not going to magically pick me up and move me around like a robot. I had to make choices. And so I began to make those choices in the directions that I knew God wanted me to go. So I'll see you on the next video. God bless, and we will start traveling around the world.